Okay, well, welcome everyone. It's Nicola here, and I was thinking what to talk to you about today out of the list of about 33 things I could be talking to you about. And I don't know if you've seen yet, but I wrote a tip number 3 yesterday. And I know that everyone was wondering why I went straight to number 3. It was because I started to talk about tolerations, and then I realized that they were actually part of a bigger picture. And the bigger picture was prompted to me by my ex-husband Irving sending me a remix of a song that we both used to love, Masters at Work. And it was one of the songs we played at our wedding when I walked down the aisle, the aisle in Brent Registry Office, as much as it can be. It took me back straight away to a time when things were a lot simpler. And I've been really struggling with motivation the last day or two because I've been overwhelmed, as I get occasionally, with the momentous events taking place in the world. There's big riots in Brazil and China starting to rise up now against the monstrous zero COVID policy they had, where they were locking people in, and there has been a big turning point over there. And I sometimes get so overwhelmed with what's going on in the world that I start to think, what is the point of doing anything? What is the point of taking any action? What's the point of taking my next small action, of making my next video? And I remember then that the things that Neil Oliver talks about, and if you don't follow Neil Oliver on GBNews on Saturday night, I really highly recommend you go to YouTube and just search out Neil Oliver Monologue. And basically he was saying, he was in a conversation with Robert Breedlove, who is one of my favourite people, on the What Is Money show. And he's going to have Robert Breedlove on his own show on Saturday night on GBNews soon. But they were talking about money and how all of the woes in the world have been caused by the central banking system. Now, if you don't know anything about that either, then don't try and learn about it all at once. Just go and watch the Hidden Secrets of Money videos 1 to 10 by Mike Maloney on YouTube. And basically, if you watch those 10 videos and then go and watch Neil Oliver's last 3 or 4 videos, and perhaps watch his one with Robert Breedlove on this What Is Money show, you'll come bang up to date with everything that's been going on in the world. And I was listening to this tune, and it's so weird how music and smells can take you back in time. And I was listening to this tune first thing this morning, and it took me straight back to when I suddenly realized that if I was ever going to be successful, it was going to have to be on my own back. Literally, if it's to be, it's up to me. Nobody was coming to save me. And Neil, funnily enough, talked about that in his monologue on Saturday night, just gone, where he talks about nobody's coming to save us from the people who really want to do terrible things to us. They want to treat us like cattle, and I won't go into any more details, but it's all about digital currencies where they can monitor everything you're spending and limit what you spend where. That's all because the debt is piling up in the system, in the banking system. They started this system knowing one day eventually it would fall down, and it's going to fall down soon. The problem with that for motivation for entrepreneurs is when you know all this stuff, it's quite hard to motivate yourself to take the next step. Because I can remember that day so clearly. I was standing in my front room. I was about 2 or 3 weeks after my wedding, and I was pregnant with Nelson. I had Phoebe asleep upstairs. I remember that day so clearly, and listening to that music and hearing it all again this morning just brought it straight back. And I was sort of envious of me in those days, because in those days, all I knew was that I had to find out how money worked. I had to work out how successful business people operate. I had to find out what really successful entrepreneurs know that other people don't. And what I didn't, I needed to go and find a mentor. How I yearn for that time now, because now I found out how successful entrepreneurs work and how successful business people operate. And I'm going to share over the next few videos a series of things I've learned over the years that I didn't know then. But it's a little bit difficult to focus on those things when you know that the world is going to hell in the handbasket. So I started out today talking about commitment and consistency. I made a promise to myself that I'm going to release a video every day, and I've got to confess I didn't release one yesterday because I was feeling so bad. I had to do something else. I had to take my mind entirely off the world and what was happening in it, and entirely off business and what I should be thinking about, because it all just seemed a little bit not worth bothering about. But so that was my commitment out the window to myself. But I you've got to forgive yourself sometimes. And we are right in the middle of World War III, a psychological World War III, but a World War III nonetheless. So I've been a bit kind to myself. I've said, okay, have Sunday off. Don't worry about it. Just set up your new ring light, which you might be able to see is very, very bright indeed, but gives quite a nice warm light. Set up your ring light, make one more video and just take it a day at a time. And then tomorrow you'll probably feel better. And then tomorrow you can make 3 or 4 and get yourself ahead so you don't have to miss one if you're having a down day. And I really need to keep the consistency going because the YouTube results are really quite astonishing. And I'm getting a lot more action on my channel because I'm releasing a video a day. You don't have to do that, by the way. But the course I'm on, they say to just release 2 a week, but I've made the promise to myself that I'm going to do one a day for the next 30 days. I'm going to do that. So I'm showing commitment, I'm showing consistency, and I'm pushing myself out there, because if we don't take the actions that we would normally take, if we don't live the lives that we would normally live, if we don't hang out with our people we love, and if we don't take our actions in our business, then we're really just sitting around waiting for the sky to fall. And that's not a very what's the word I'm looking for? That's not a very satisfactory way to live. And Neil Oliver touched on that in a way. He said that the main thing we can do to fight what's happening to us, and Robert asked that in the interview several times. He said, but what can we do? And the problem when you're an entrepreneur and a business person is you're an action taker, and you don't know what to do until you're called to do it. That's the thing. And what Neil said was, the one main thing you can do is make a connection with other people, and that you can take the steps that you need to take in your daily life and be with the people that you love in your daily life, and that means you're winning. So here I am showing a bit of commitment, consistency, making a connection, I hope, with you guys, and letting you know that I'm aware of what's going on in the world, and that I'm standing up for the things that are important to stand up for. And I'm going to be doing a series of videos about money and how we've come to this fairly soon. But in the meantime, I just wanted to show up, show a bit of commitment, be a bit consistent, test out my new ring light. It's not always rosy in the garden of Shoreham, but the main thing is just to keep taking one more step to move your business forward. And if I can do one more step to move my business forward every single day, then I consider that I'm winning and I'm beating the bad guys. I hope that resonated with some of you. I'd love to see your comments underneath, and I'd love to see you like this video and subscribe if you're not a subscriber already. And apparently it's important to say that every day, so I'll say it right at the end just to remind you. And I love to see your comments. I'd love to see what you think about all this. I'd love to hear how you're keeping yourself motivated in your life and your work as we go through some of the strangest times we've ever experienced. Keep your chin up. See you tomorrow.